Having a business plan is your roadmap and your direction and your foundation to a great business. I personally had no idea where to start. All I knew is that I had a dream in my heart and I had a vision. I could see clearly what I wanted to do and what I wanted to offer for our students.
Hey everybody, welcome to this episode of MissionCTRL. This is your host, Ramon Peralta with Peralta Design, and we launch brands. And we've got an exciting episode today. Please help me welcome Ann Casarella, the owner and founder of Glow and Grow Esthetics Academy. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me today. This is an absolute pleasure.
Yes, the fans are going wild.
Yes.
They always do.
Yes.
I am fans.
I'm fans, and definitely want to introduce Maggie Cruz.
Hi, I'm Maggie Cruz. Yeah. Oh, I get
Fan
applause
favorite.
too.
Not,
Making a cameo.
I was gonna say, not altogether a stranger to standing ovations.
That's right. Sister Act is coming up, right?
Yeah, I'm in a production of Sister Act down in Fairfield, Connecticut. I'm going to be playing a dancing nun from May 9th to 18th.
This acting thing is becoming a habit.
Oh,
Yeah, just a little bit.
Ouch.
Oh, pun.
I see what he did there. That was the one and only Jorge Candelario,
How's it going, everyone?
our director of web development. So we're gonna get to the gold here. First of all, Ann, thank you for making the trek from Danbury and coming down, and congratulations on the launch of your new school. You had a ribbon cutting recently.
Yes, I did. Thank you so much. That was on the 7th of April, and it was absolutely incredible. I felt so blessed to have many of our friends and family to be able to join us, and a lot of our town representatives as well, which was fantastic. We had the town mayor there helping to support our business. We also have the Danbury Chamber of Commerce representative there, as well as many other people. And also, it was really sweet. I had a lot of past clients that came to see me now in this new role that I've done their services for many, many years. And now they're just like so thrilled that to see me doing this.
Yes, and the place is beautiful. I got a chance to go. I don't visit every podcast guest location, but this one, I'm glad I did.
Thank you.
It's just, you've done an amazing job there. And it's no small feat to start a business. And we want to get into this idea of the importance of a business plan and crafting one. A lot of folks have ideas for businesses. The first step really is a business plan, whether you want to get investors or you want to just figure out what your budget's going to be. I mean, there's so many aspects to it. And I know you and I spoke a little bit about the challenges in creating that. Maybe you can shed some light as to how did you approach this idea of creating a business plan?
Absolutely. Yeah. Thanks for asking. So I think first and foremost, having a business plan is your roadmap and your direction and your foundation to a great business. I personally had no idea where to start. All I knew is that I had a dream in my heart and I had a vision. I could see clearly what I wanted to do and what I wanted to offer for our students. And I knew it was going to be in Danbury. I just knew everything was going to fall into place. However, I was not at all prepared for the business side of things and helping me just even to where to start. That was so I was in a fog. Mm-hmm. I was very fortunate to come across this company called Scope, and they're also based out of Danbury, Connecticut, and they guided me literally from the beginning all the way to the end on how to create a business plan. And I advise for all of the listeners out there to get someone that has experience doing this, because you may have the business that you want to open, but you may not know all the steps that are needed. Right. And for me personally, it was extremely helpful to have someone basically telling me all the things that need to go into the business plan, such as financial planning, which is huge, right? And another important part of the business plan was organizational structure, like who's going to do what, who are you going to need, what kind of employees are you going to have, and they have to be very clear on their responsibilities. He also helped me to think very thoroughly about the mission and vision of what I wanted in the school. And also we did step by steps on how the business is going to make money. Right?
Whoa,
because
wow.
it is,
That's an important piece.
it is a very important piece because you can have a dream, but if you can't bring in revenue some way, somehow, then it's not going to be sustained. And so get someone to help you.
Yeah, absolutely.
First and foremost, do not be shy. Get someone to help you because it will be very, very valuable to take your vision into a reality.
Great advice, because entrepreneurs want to do everything themselves. That's one of the downfalls.
For sure. And I still find that to this day. I have gotten so much support, and I've been very blessed to find many people, even up to this point, to help me take it to the next level. But I still find myself wanting to do everything myself. And it's not possible. It's not possible. You need the help. You need the support.
Right. Let's say you're much better at skincare than writing your own business plan.
1,000,000%.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
am much better at taking care of clients, at teaching. That is my
Yes.
passion. I want to teach students,
Yes.
and this is why I am doing this. This is my passion, but it's also a business. So you have to know how to run it. And how I look at it, it's a living and breathing thing. You have to take care of it like it is your child. You have to put your time in. You have to put your effort in. And a lot of times, it can be a little frustrating because things take time, but you have to make sure you're doing it correctly.
Yeah, and speaking of time, what was it? Was it 6 months? Was it a year? Like, how long did it take to work with this company or this consultant and create the business plan?
I worked particular with the consultant for 3 months, and we were meeting on a weekly basis for 1 hour, and that was helpful. But that was in 2023. This vision and this dream came to me when I was in 2020. So it took a little while to get it to reality. But once I worked with this particular organization in 2023, then a lot of the snowballs started rolling.
Absolutely. So when we come back right after these words, we're going to hear all about your story and how you created this amazing academy.
Sounds good.
Do you need printing done on time and for a good price? From posters to embroidery, business cards and booklets, and everything in between. For the best printing, check out my boy Harry, our partners over at Minuteman Press of Shelton. High quality products, timely service, competitive prices. You can expect these and more when you partner with Minuteman Press for your design, printing, and marketing needs. For more information, visit shelton.minutemanpress.com and mention Peralta Design's Mission Control podcast for an extra 10% off your next order.
3, 2, 1. Launch ratings.
And we're back. Please help me welcome once again Ann Casarella, the owner and founder of Glow and Grow Esthetics Academy.
Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you. And thanks for just shedding light. I think that was just such an important part of the journey to share the importance of a business plan. And, I was going to mention that we had hired a consultant from a group called Action Coach, but there are so many other resources out there. Score is one of them that provides free services. But definitely, I think the takeaway there is do not try to do this all on your own, that you need help. But please, why don't you take us through the journey of Ann Casarella? Where did this passion come from? Where did you come from? And take us right up until the opening of your school.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm originally from Colombia. I was born in Barranquilla, which is right on the beach.
Nice.
Super warm, super hot, very tropical place. I loved it. I moved to the United States when I was 10 years old. And it was summer. I remember it was June, and I was freezing. So it's like, it's a little different than Colombia, although it was summer. But so it took a little adjusting. But I absolutely love this country. I absolutely love the opportunities that it brings. Then went straight to school and had to learn the language, which I'm still learning. It's a very I love the language, but it can be a little challenging at times. And I went to high school, graduated, and I started college. And college, I love school and I was very good at it. I just didn't really know what I wanted to do. It was just the right thing to do after high school. So I was going for about 2 years, and I got a job at a high-end spa, which I absolutely loved, and I was a receptionist. And that's when I got into this field, and my passion grew. I was like, oh, I love this. Customer service, skincare, everything about it. It was like my light bulb moment. So I decided then to pivot my schooling and go into a trade school, an aesthetics trade school. And I'm not gonna lie, it wasn't 100% easy to have to convince an immigrant mother to not go to college and go to a trade school, because 20 years ago or so it wasn't as fond of as going to regular college per se. It was a little bit more like looked down upon. But I'm like, this is amazing. There's so much that I can do afterwards. So after a lot of convincing, I got my way. Thank goodness. And and then I started going to skincare school. And I knew automatically, this is for me. This is what I want to do. I graduated and I was hired by the same company as an esthetician, and I started taking care of clients.
The same company where you were a receptionist.
Correct.
So you had a good relationship.
I had a good relationship. I established that I was a good employee. I established that I was reliable, and they could not wait until I graduated to give me a job.
Yeah, good people are hard to find.
I think so. I think so, but there's definitely good people, a lot of good people out there. And I was honored to be given that position, and I worked my way to their lead, an educator in-house in that particular spot. And then after a few years, I was promoted to the company's national director position. So it was more of a corporate responsibility, overseeing a team of 28 locations of over 200 estheticians.
Wow. So this is like sounds like a franchise of some sort.
It was a corporation.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, it was a corporation. So it was a franchise, but it was definitely a big location, and headquarters in Stamford, Connecticut.
Wow.
And it was unbelievable. I've got the opportunity to travel to all the locations and train and get to meet some of the most amazing people. And truthfully, being on that side of the spectrum, on the business side of it, helped me so much with all the skills that I acquired to be able to open the school now.
Right.
So I was fortunate to be with them for almost 16 years.
Wow.
In my journey. So I have everything to thank them for and beyond. They were like my family. And unfortunately, as many people went through this hardship during COVID, the particular company closed, and they closed all of its doors, which it was so sad and really scary because I was with them since I was 19 years old. It's like, what do I do? Where do I go? I mean, and I don't want to sound selfish, but it was like I was going through so much and all at once. I was supposed to get married in May 2020. That didn't happen. Lost my job, and so much uncertainty. So my husband and I, we got chickens instead.
That was not on my bingo card.
Talk about a pivot. I mean,
you know,
wow.
So when you don't know what to do with your life, you get chickens. Just so you know. And they were beautiful, and they helped us keep us busy and not lose our minds and kill each other in the moment. But that was a blessing in disguise, that moment, because then it gave me a pause, and it was just, where do I go from here? And now I have all this experience. I have all this passion. I have this vision. And then now what? Now what do I do? And that's when in that moment of silence, that moment of pause, I got the epiphany of I need to continue educating because that was my passion. You can really do a lot with this field, but education for me and training and just seeing the light bulb moments for our students, like that was what I lived for.
The most rewarding for you.
It really, really was. That was the most rewarding. So this is when I made the decision. And another big opportunity that I saw also in this field is that the state of Connecticut didn't have a requirement for students or for people in general to have a license to be able to work as an esthetician. It was actually the only state in the country that didn't require some sort of schooling, some sort of license to be able to be an esthetician, which was a little scary, right? Because we do a lot to learn the basics and then some in school.
Your skin is like your largest organ of your body.
It is the largest organ of your body. And then you're seeing so many different people and so many different conditions and stuff that you need the schooling. So they actually changed that law. Which thankfully they changed that law in 2021. And that was at the moment when I was going through my chicken epiphany that I said, okay, so now Connecticut needs a license. So I'm going to be that place for
I'm picturing her like throwing the feed.
The corn.
And
they like grass. They love grass.
And the light bulb goes off right there.
And you're like, you know what? 2021, this is my
But there's
time.
probably something therapeutic. There's probably something to that.
Yes.
That it kept things simple. It was like almost spiritual. You're
connected. Some kind of structure, a routine, something to like put your focus on.
Yes.
That then gets the rest of your.
And you're getting eggs too, so that's a plus.
Which are delicious. Well, I also have 2 dogs, so it definitely keep us on our tracks. Our 2 Siberian Huskies trying to get to the chicken. So I was busy.
Yeah, for them they're like, wait a minute, my instincts are kicking in here.
Snacks.
Yeah, chicken nuggets.
Yeah, really. But they were my babies. I was like, don't touch my babies. So it was true. Moment of clarity, moment of you don't have on the rat race, you're not just going like you actually are paused. To me was helpful. And then the big opportunity as to, hey, they passed this law that you now need to go to school for at least 600 hours to be able to get a license and then to be able to work.
Just out of curiosity, how did you know about that law? Are you staying in touch with what's going on in the industry during this time?
Yes, that's a very good question. And yes, absolutely. Mm-hmm. That was actually a big part of my previous job when I was a national director, to understand the laws because we had, it was 28 locations. So it's almost, I would say, 12 different states that we have the spas. So not every state works the same. So I was always had to be on top of the laws per state to see what we were allowed to do and not allowed to do. Believe it or not, like not all the states operate this way. Like just one quick example, like dermaplaning. At this moment, dermaplaning is allowed for estheticians to perform in New York, but not in Connecticut. And I hope they change that soon. So that's
a good question I just have in general. What would you say for those in our audience who might not know? How would you define an esthetician? What do you do? What does your daily life look like?
Absolutely, that's an amazing question as well. So an esthetician is a beauty provider that we are able to provide facials services, makeup services, as well as hair removal. So those are our 3 key responsibilities that we're able to do. Now that's the basic, and there's so much more out there that you can add, such as the example that I just said, dermaplaning is just an addition to the facial. Or you can focus a little bit more on the medical side, which is laser hair removals or just laser for the skin and things like that. So you can kind of branch out from there. But the 3 major responsibilities that our license covers, and especially what we teach in our school, are a complete facial, a complete understanding of skin, makeup, and hair removal.
What are some things that, that might be misconceptions? Like, do you things that you hear all the time that you're like, this myth gets out there all the time that, is maybe something that's not true, or just something interesting that somebody might not know about your skin? And I've always heard like the skin on your face is entirely different from the skin on your arm, your hand. No, it's totally different.
It is, yeah. Different parts of the body definitely have different skin and then skin conditions per se. Like for example, your face, as you mentioned, you're way more exposed to the sun, to the elements, to the wind, to the cold. So you are going to get more effect on your face, and let's say on your upper arm or something that for the most part is covered by your shirt or something. So you're definitely, the more exposed to the environment you are, the more susceptible you are to getting different conditions. So we do have to treat it differently. That's one aspect of it. The other aspect is depends. Like you get, if you are a little bit more oily, then you can be more prone to a breakout. And usually that's more on the face, not on the rest of the body. So you don't have that kind of oil production in the rest of the body as you do, for example, on your face. So we definitely have to understand what part of the body we're treating with and what kind of condition we're addressing, and then we can go from there.
And
Yeah.
do you guys, where does the line between esthetician and dermatologist lie? Because I feel like that line maybe is blurred for some people. Like, what could you do? Talk to each other in those different fields? Are they totally unrelated?
That's another great question. So they're not totally unrelated. They definitely go hand in hand. The biggest difference that dermatologist is a doctor, esthetician is not a doctor, and we're not allowed to treat. So if there's anything that our clients have on their skin that you
A
think
mole or something.
exactly, that you think it's like a little suspicious, or that you would advise your client to see a dermatologist, because we are not allowed to treat it. Right. So that is the biggest difference, doctor versus licensed esthetician. So a little bit different, but they certainly go hand in hand. And so we're more on the cosmetic side of things. And so there are a lot of dermatologists recommend their patients to us for the cosmetic side. And then we recommend our clients to them for treatment and diagnosing as well.
Right. So you're feeding the chickens and you have this idea. And then what was the first conversation with your husband like that you were going to start this dream?
Yeah, so we were in our kitchen table and I said, okay, this is what I want to do next. I'm ready. I'm ready to go. Let's do this. And then again, where do we start? And then what do we do? Oh, so going back to your question about license and how to understand the licensing program, that to me was my driven factor. So after I found out that they changed the law, I said, okay, this is when we're doing it.
Right.
This
It felt
is the
like
opportunity.
it was falling into place. Like
100% falling into place. And then with my husband, then we started just jotting down ideas on the piece of paper as to what do we need to do, who do we need to see, what kind of licensing, what kind of certifications do you need to be able to open this. And that's when the research started. And that was it took a while for it to come to fruition, but it started from the idea.
Yeah, and you said when we spoke that there weren't many competitors, because I know that first step sometimes is doing a SWOT analysis, your strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, threats. But you felt like there was opportunity because there weren't many people offering these classes.
That's correct. So when I saw the map and I just started identifying where schools are, and I wanted to be in Connecticut. I love Connecticut, although I lived in New York for the most of my time after I moved from Colombia. There's a lot of options for those that are in New York already. So when I looked in the map in Connecticut and identified where each of the schools were, and especially in the Danbury area, there really wasn't a lot nearby. So for those students that want to take a program like ours, they would have to go far. So I identified Danbury being such a good spot because even those that are borderline in New York, they can also come to us because it's the same amount of hours. And then, of course, for those in Connecticut. So there really wasn't a lot of schools nearby. Wow. That's why I chose Danbury, and I found a particular spot that I loved.
It's beautiful. Yeah, it's a great building. And,
thank you.
And what you've done. And we're gonna, like, when we put this on YouTube, we're gonna mix in some of the footage of your space.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
I love that. I wanted to create, I know it's a school, but I wanted to create a warm environment, inviting. I wanted our students to feel welcome and to feel proud of where they're going. Even before we get to the education part, they are my clients now. I'm not taking care of clients anymore. This is my baby, and I'm taking all my time dedicated to glow and grow. But my students are my clients. So I have to make sure that I do right by them, from the facility to the curriculum to everything that we have to offer, to ensure that they leave our school as prepared as possible.
Absolutely. So why don't you take us through some of the first steps? Like, you've hired some instructors, and then you've also thought deeply about different verticals, like different revenue streams, because so maybe take us through some of those, because you're going to have like a little retail section, and then there's a room with the beds. And
Yes. So we are going to be offering 4 different services in our school. First and foremost is the licensing course, which that is where students have to start in order to be able to get a license. And that is a 600-hour course. And we offer 2 options. We have a full-time option and we have a part-time option. Our full-time option is 5 days a week in the morning, 9 to 3:30. And our students will complete this program in a little under 6 months. So it's quick, it's intensive, they'll learn a lot, and then they'll leave with a license. And our part-time program is 3 days a week, from 5:30 to 9:30, which is very convenient for those who have a full-time job or working in the morning or have other commitments. And they will complete this program in a little under 12 months. So very, very fast. And then again, they'll leave with a license and ready to work.
nice. So a year or half a year, you'll get your license. And take us through the rooms, because you have, like you said,
our facility.
There's a room for the seniors, and then there's a room where Maggie, who's going to be one of your first guinea pigs, is going to come over.
Yes, she is. She's going to be our guest.
Yes.
Yeah, we're not using that term, because guinea pigs is usually like not
like
positive.
an experiment.
It's an experiment.
We're not experimenting. We know what we're doing. Okay.
Right.
You're in good hands, I promise.
So you'll be a guest. You'll be receiving services at a reduced cost, and it's a win-win, because your students get to learn and they get to treat real people.
Absolutely. It's huge. So we have 3 levels for our students when they first start with the licensing program. We have the freshmen, and this is when they're learning all things theory about the skin, about skin diseases, layers of the skin, everything theory based that they have to learn. They're learning in this portion. Then the second portion is our juniors. And in this one, they're getting a little bit deeper into hands-on. And they'll first start practicing on a mannequin to make sure that they know how to properly perform the techniques. Then they'll start working on each other, student to student. And then when they're seniors, which is the 3rd level, this is when we start welcoming Maggie and other guests into our spot. So it's amazing. I invite everybody to join us and to come in. It's our treat to ensure that we take care of you. We'll give you a nice facial, but also our students are getting a lot of practice as well, because I want them to have as much practice as possible, because that's what's going to be successful for them.
Maggie, this is where you come in. Like, you haven't had one.
Mm-mm.
So I think we should probably go through, like, what is it? I mean, are we doing a chemical peel? Are we doing...
Well, that's what I was thinking about. I wanted to do like a very like light chemical peel, where it's like only like a small layer of skin that comes off, just like so it's softer, like any like post-acne scars, pigmentation like comes off, and like you just kind of have like a fresher layer of skin.
Yeah, I love that. Chemical peels definitely do that. And there's a lot of variations, of course. And we can certainly do like the lightest one that you don't peel per se, but you certainly get the benefits from it as well. The particular facial does not include a chemical peel, especially if you never had a facial before. We would advise you to get a regular facial first, experience to see how your skin reacts. We'll analyze your skin. So the steps quickly to share with you guys, the step of the facial is, and the purpose of the facial is very customized what the person is looking for, because some people might be looking for to clean the pores, some people might be looking for anti-aging, other people might be looking for pigmentation or so. So it really depends on what the person is trying to address. But for the most part, we'll deep cleanse your skin. We do extractions to clean any blackheads, impurities that are under the skin, and that really helps to clear up We'll do a nice massage, which is very relaxing, but also extremely stimulating for the skin to promote circulation. We'll do a mask, and we'll finish off with some really nice serums, and always with SPF.
Do you get the cucumbers or?
The cucumbers we don't, but I know this is for you. We will do. For the most part, we'll use cooled compresses around the eyes, but we'll definitely have the cucumbers ready for
I'm
you.
thinking of Mrs. Roper, like on Three's Company, you know, like the mask every night,
Yeah.
and like the green mud, and then like the cucumbers, and then she just lays there.
Where does that even come from?
I don't know.
What attribute do cucumbers have where that has become like the de facto?
I know, it's just you want to eat them afterwards or
Yeah.
something.
I think. Oh, sorry.
Oh, go ahead. No.
I think it's like the liquid content in them. I think there are some like minerals in cucumbers that are good for your skin.
Yeah, that is definitely one of them, but especially after you remove it from the refrigerator, it's nice and cold. Is the cold factor. The cold factor is extremely helpful for puffiness and also for dark circles, those are the two major concerns that people have around their eyes, puffiness and dark circles. So that's why you see them everywhere being used, and it feels so amazing. It's great for depuffing if you have a long night the day before.
Yeah.
If you went out, you have a lot of puffiness around your eyes, you can throw some cucumbers on, and it helps with the depuffing.
Nice.
And then we have products that we have carefully selected the products
Yes, tell us
too,
about those.
and it's a brand called Eminence, and they are from blanking out.
Turkey.
Turkey, yes. Oh my gosh, thank you so much. From Turkey, but also based out of Vancouver, and they have amazing products that are result driven. They're more plant based and a lot less chemicals. And that was also another big part of my thinking behind what kind of products I want to bring in. Just because they're a school, I didn't want to have just the bottom of the barrel.
Right.
As I mentioned, my students, they're my guests. I want them to have the best. And this is one of the best brands out there. And it's very result driven, but not too much, because they're still students, they're learning. So I don't want to throw a product line that may scare them, or it's just a little bit too active. So wanted something that creates a result, and then that is also student friendly. So our guests can have a beautiful result. And then we customize it. We have products for different skin types and conditions.
And what does the future look like for G&G? Any additional services that you can eventually expand into?
Yeah. So number one is our licensing service. Number two is advanced classes for those who are already licensed, estheticians or cosmetologists. So we plan to offer on a monthly basis or every other month actual classes that usually are a day or two, but they're certification classes. So you already have your license, but this will help you to enhance your skills. One of the examples, and you've mentioned before, is chemical peels. We have a class coming up on May 15th that we're going to be offering for people who already have a license. And this is our second stream of revenue for the business. So first is our licensing, then second is at advanced classes. And it's great because in this field, as mentioned several times, there's so much out there. There's so much to learn. There's always a new technique and new products. And the more you learn, the better it will be for you to help your clients. Right. So we are offering that for specific people who already have a license.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. So for our listeners that are interested in signing up or learning more or being a guest, how do they find out more information?
Absolutely. So I can be reached several different ways. Head over to our website, which is ggestheticsacademy.com. And in that particular website, you'll see a tab that says book a tour. And I would love to invite you all to book a tour, and you come in, you see the facility. I'll show you around where the classes take place, also where the spa is and where the services take place. And it's just an easy button to book a tour with us. So you have our website, you have our Instagram also, which is ggesthetics_academy, and Facebook, Glow and Grow Aesthetics Academy, or you can feel free to give me a call, 914-837-6432.
Nice. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for being on our show.
It was an absolute honor, and thank you so much for having me. And I hope that this is helping to shed light on people who want to start a business and to to follow their passion.
Absolutely. Any parting advice for someone that's thinking about starting a business?
Yes, do it. Do it. If you have that inkling, it's not for the faint of heart. I wouldn't say that it has been easy this whole time and rainbows and butterflies. It's not for the faint of heart, but it's so worth it, especially when you have something on your own that it hasn't been created yet. You started it. It's so rewarding. So do it. Make sure that you follow the correct steps to do it the right way. Get the guidance and the support from the right people, and you'll be successful. For sure, follow your dreams.
Excellent. Thank you. Sage advice.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thanks, Maggie. Thanks, Jorge.
Of course.
All right, everybody. Thank you for listening to this episode of Mission Control. Until next time, this is your host, Ramon Peralta with Peralta Design, and we launch brands.